I think next week we should be seeing some stuff for the first.
Ready to do it all. We gotta keep that kid moving. He's a pain when he's not moving.
Same. Is Hunter's first game this weekend?
Yes. We got a double header. We have an 8 o'clock and a 10 o'clock.
Really?
Rockport.
We
Yeah.
were in Rockport too. We have a 9 a.m.
Okay, so yeah, I'm driving back at 7 on Saturday to go to Ruby's game. as well. I think her game's at 11.
Are you back also?
Yeah. I flew down and flew back.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
You know you have a house here.
Where?
Do me a favor and say my plans for the people, please.
If you have any doubts, what do the appraisal do?
Right.
I mean,
We're good.
They won't let you forget.
Call to order the City of Port Aransas Planning and Zoning Commission meeting Thursday, January 4th, 2024 at 3:03 p.m. Citizen comments and reports. At this time, comments will be taken from the audience on any subject matter. Please limit comments to 3 minutes in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. The Planning and Zoning Commission may not discuss or take action on any item that has not been posted on the agenda. Item 3.1, discuss and take action to confirm that dune permit BFDP 24-000001 is consistent with the city's coastal management plan. The proposed permit will allow the installation of a new gas line. Applicant City of Port Aransas, property location Port Aransas Beach.
You guys have the revised permit in front of you.
Does that have the language?
Does.
Okay. You guys had a chance to look at that. You want to take a few minutes to look at it?
Not
What,
much change.
yeah, while you're glancing at it, just,
yesterday, what changed?
Just the
Some wording in the
introduction.
introduction that calls it not city right away.
Oh,
basically under the travelway, I guess.
And then the distance that was 30 feet is now 5 feet. And then the accompanying drawings have changed
Right.
to reflect those changes.
And again, just,
Other than that, nothing
yeah.
really.
And
Won't-
ju-
won't be some-
and just generally, there's nothing nefarious. It's just, obviously, we got to hold ourselves to the same standard. Construction activities in the dunes. This is a utility line. Obviously, it's prepared by our city engineer. And so we have great confidence that it is consistent with the coastal management plan for this application. So it is pretty straightforward. So we clearly recommend approval.
And there are zero impacts, zero mitigation.
Right, yeah.
Everything's
All
not
of that
very-
in the travel way, and then the ones that do go up to feed the house are in existing
Okay.
access
Okay.
areas.
Did Hanson have to review it?
Nope.
City permits typically don't go for review.
Something that,
GLO will still review it.
yeah,
After.
something that was more complicated, we might have elected to, but in consult with the city manager, we didn't feel that since it was prepared by the city engineer and given the lack of impact, it was unnecessary.
And this is the same as Equix is doing everywhere else with the boreholes versus trenching.
Exactly.
You're not gonna pull rank and get the meters first, are you?
Probably not. I mean, it's still,
Already
we're
got my
still,
meter.
still at least 2 months away from approval for the June permit. So I
Right.
think we're okay.
Gonna be a little bit.
Very.
Make a motion to approve.
Second that.
It's been a long time since we've had a meeting. Okay, Richard Kay,
Yes.
Stephen Wilson,
Yes.
Craig Scott,
Yes.
Mike Diane,
Yes.
Nick Lorette,
Yes.
Bill Schreiber,
Yes.
Badge Midas,
Yes.
motion carried.
Item 3.2, discuss and take action to confirm that the dune permit BFDP 24-000002 is consistent with the city's coastal management plan. The proposed permit will allow the repair of the existing walkover. Applicant Raymond Lapardo, Grand Caribbean Condominium Owners Association, property location 5495 Highway 361.
Thank you. So this one is a request for no dune permit. I don't know if you guys have been out there, but the terminus of that particular walkover has been impacted. It's probably slowly settled. Mr. Guajardo is here too, that you could probably address some questions, but the request is simply, and I made the determination that having visited the site, that given the fact the damaged boardwalk, which is canted and unsafe, will be lifted off and removed. And Ramon, just correct me if I'm wrong, just will be lifted off the pilings directly underneath, no construction or activities outside of the existing footprint, but that'll be lifted off, moved landward, the other pilings planted to shore it up, and it will be leveled and planted back with no expansion. So it's a repair, and that's always been an area that GLO and us have gone around and around on occasion. But this one seemed so innocuous to the point that there was not going to be any additional impacts. The activities will be from the beach to lift it up, but it's a safety issue now. So we decided to treat it as a no dune permit because we couldn't identify impacts other than the boring of the holes adjacent to the pilings that will be cut off and left in place to just place the existing ramp that's there at the end that you can see at the end back and level it. There may be a board or two that needs to be replaced, but for the most part, it's just the installation of the piling. So I made the decision to treat it as a no dune permit, and that's what you have there before you. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it looks like all those pilings are seaward of the dunes, so they can, okay.
And remember that we have, although it's technically for seaweed maintenance, we do have a maintenance area, and it's not uncommon that our own beach maintenance guys will come in and remove sand in a clearing effort in front of those boardwalks. And so usually they don't do that. They'll let the sand build up during the winter and fall just because of the lack of activity down there. But then come spring and preparation of summer, they'll come in and start to grade that back. That will actually be something that the contractor and Doug, our beach supervisor, will be able to work on. They'll be able to do that, I think, and what they would generally do is a cleaning anyway. Let me rephrase that. The contractor will be able to do that in conjunction with the repair, and Doug will indicate where that needs to go to the beach, and it will be within that maintenance area. So it's an activity that they wouldn't have normally done this time of year, but they can do this time of year. That'll also make it even easier on the repair of that. And like I said, normally with under that sand, they'll direct them to take it to the water's edge.
But none of it's getting up into the fully
No.
vegetated.
It'll all be done from the beach side. And again, just as a side note, they do anticipate a large crane to lift and everything else. And I have asked that they minimize the time on the beach. It's a good time of year. But that if they can't get it done during the weekday, that they do remove the equipment for a weekend. Even this time of year, I would rather it be gone on a weekend because we still have a lot of people there. So that will be part of the if approved, part of the permit process is we'll require that equipment leave.
And that will likely be approved or at council in mid-February at their February meeting. So that will happen. That work, if it happens, will happen after that date.
Ramon, was that hurricane related damage? Or is just started there and just continued to settle?
Initial damage was with Hurricane
Hannah, that's right.
And we did temporary repairs. They didn't drive the pilings, and therefore it's been deteriorated ever since, and it is slanted, and we want to make those repairs.
Okay,
One-
Hannah, that's right.
One correction, we will not remove the ramp from there. They will take planks off and just drill down in there. And so the ramp will not be removed. It'll be kept in place and just the support.
Jack it up and leveled, even better.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the correction.
Can I invite a motion on item 3.2?
Making a motion to approve item 3.2, BFDP 24-000002 is consistent with the city's coastal management plan.
Mike Dayonis motion to approve.
I'll second.
Craig's got a second on the motion.
Right, Nick Rett,
Yes.
Bill Streeberg,
Yes.
Richard Kay,
Yes.
Craig Scott,
Yes.
Mike Dayon,
Yes.
Stephen Wilson,
Yes.
Chad Schneider.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 3.4, discuss and take action on the process for making amendments in the Port Aransas Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5.
And we'll just mention 3.3 was pulled by the applicant.
Yeah.
So they have asked that to appear on a future meeting date.
Mine in red ink said pulled, so
I know.
skip right over it.
So you want to talk about 3.4?
Or you can. So, obviously our ill-worded ordinance right now continuously adopts new codes and revisions as they become available. And it's been a sort of a source of irritation with our city attorney. He doesn't like the idea of having to defend that. It's not the right way to do it. And so,
And people regularly call and ask us, are you guys really on the 2003 building
Yeah.
code?
so it goes back to 2003 that basically was worded in such a way that 2003 was the code at the time, and then all future revisions and supplements. It's not right. So obviously we're in a jam. Our building official has been out on some significant medical issues. His return is uncertain at this point. We've not heard from him, but he's still in some serious has serious medical issues. So obviously you guys know, most of you here know that we're using third-party inspectors. Like I said, we just at some point need to move to we think we need to move to the 21 codes, but this time we're going to do it. We're going to do it in a more conscientious manner and take a deep look. Even though 23 will be out by the time the process is over, but we need to take a deep look at those areas that need to be accepted out possibly, or those that don't need to be accepted out. But we need to convene a group of professionals that have some interest and knowledge, architects, some builders here, engineers need to be part of that group. And so we want to try to get that process started sooner rather than later. In the meantime, we'll continue on with the 2018 codes, which is something we should have done probably before we adopted those officially, unofficially. So anyway, that's where we're at. We just need to come up with a process. Obviously, that's going to entail some types of meetings and consultation.
Related to the inspection, so you want this committee put together, right, to
Correct, to adopt new building codes and
Yes.
to write out.
write
local
out the
limits.
exceptions, and that way the new building inspector, third-party inspectors have.
Well, as well as the city. I mean, but
Correct.
before we move to the 21 codes, which technically we would do because of the way the ordinance is written, we would just adopt it when it's available as a supplement, as a revision. We want to stop it now. We'll rewrite the ordinance so that doesn't happen in preparation of adoption. But before adopting the 21, we want to make sure we know what we're getting. And we can't do it as individuals. We're not a big enough staff. A lot of cities have 8-10 people that do these things, and they can have this whole list ready to go a year in advance. We just don't have that luxury. So we're gonna be, albeit probably behind the curve a bit, but we think the 21 codes will last us for a year or two, maybe longer. But right now we need to know what's in it, what doesn't belong in it for our particular area. And we've got a starting list internally ourselves, but we need to have the stakeholders weigh in.
Yeah, the thought was to have less than a quorum of you guys be involved, and then to invite other local builders, tradesmen, architects, engineers, anybody else that you think would be a good fit. Now I'm looking for some volunteers.
Do you have an idea of like,
I'm already neck deep in it, so.
What does
Yeah,
that mean? Does it mean you want to be in it or
You want to
not?
be in it or out of
He
it?
was raising his hand at the
No,
same time. He said
yeah, he
it.
said
I mean,
yes.
I'm serious. I don't.
I would like to be part of the process.
I agree. You should be. I think with the contractors that are here, I mean, I think it's real important to have a plumber, an AC and a electrical. And
Obviously.
have them go ahead and review. We've got the cheat sheet already. I mean, the industry prints it out of all changes. And if you separate them just for the electrician, he can go through that real quick and tell you that's insane. Everything else is fine.
it's a good idea.
Yeah, so looking for volunteers from you guys, and then maybe email suggestions of
Recommendations for,
the other people that fit those other categories.
I'll volunteer.
Eric Kipke would be a good one.
Yeah, I talked to him already.
I'm happy to do it as well.
That's it for.
That's it for a quorum, yep.
Thanks.
anybody else feel strongly?
Somehow you kept yourself out of it.
Yeah. Anybody want to arm wrestle for one of those positions, or are you guys good with that representation?
Good.
Great, so
They seem perfect.
Cause we can give feedback to you guys
Absolutely.
from our trades, give
Absolutely.
you a list, and that's really what it's all about.
Sure.
And I suspect that whatever lists emerge will be brought back for the entire group to review anyway.
Ordinance changes, you mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how it'll happen.
Yeah, so
It'll be adopted through an ordinance. with
Everybody will
local-
be able to weigh in at some point,
Yeah.
even if you're not on this consulting group.
Right.
Working group.
How many people do you want on there? Are you suggesting?
I don't really have a high suggestion. I think it's gonna be more of a working group because I think we need some, we need an architect, we need engineers,
Yeah.
we need the tradesmen. So
Yeah.
I don't want to limit it to a certain number. of
Got to be
people.
representative, but not unmanageable.
It's not a group that's committed, that's created by the city charter. So we don't really have specifics on who needs to be involved or not involved.
So we're recommending to council who we think would be good on that meeting?
No,
Or
we're
this
just
is
gonna
We're
do
gonna
it.
just do
We're
it.
just gonna do it, make the changes, and then recommend the ordinance changes to council.
I know that your engineer
Right?
did a great job when we played that just dry run with your
Yeah.
plan review, so
I'm gonna see if I can talk him.
Are you kidding, Kyle?
He
We'll
does
take
it.
Any opportunity
to talk, oh, yeah.
He's on the similar board that does this for Corpus Christi, so I think that he would not be it.
He's a walking database.
Yes.
No.
All right, that's all we really needed from you guys on that. It's not
Thank
really
you
an
for
action
the-
item.
Where,
Those are all-
you and I kind of have started this as we try to go into third partying all this. Obviously, we still have questions about inspections and things. Something that just came up today, but maybe maybe probably not the right form, but where is, at some point, I guess the city's gonna have to make the decision of when we're looking at a general permit, not a new construction permit that has to go through full review, but Mike wants to add a room above his garage at his house. Does that go through the third party, or is that something that gets kept local? Because those general permits cover such a broad span of stuff. It could be anything from me changing my air conditioning unit. Does that go to a third party for review?
So
or
that,
does
I think that the small trade things wouldn't, we need to have a discussion with you guys and with our third party reviewer on what those other permits need to look like.
Where the line is.
Right.
Yeah, we are so new right now in this new paradigm that has been forced on us because of the medical issues with our building official and with, some working challenges with our previous third-party inspector. So like I said, we're struggling through a lot of those answers, right now. But we know they're important and we'll.
But I think
We're-
that's like we just talked about. I think we go have that conversation with them and
Sure.
see.
See at what point maybe the third party says, look, this isn't our wheelhouse.
Right, and it'll be something that they do inspections on, but maybe don't need to approve the permit ahead of time.
Are we gonna establish gotta have a deadline or it'll never happen. So what is our goal for getting this advisory committee together?
I'm going to start reaching out to people tomorrow
Okay,
and then setting up a meeting for hopefully in the next few weeks.
Good.
And then using that first meeting to kind of establish a working timeline on
Great.
where we go from there.
And hopefully we can, prior to that meeting, even send out some guidelines.
Yeah,
And
we're
it'll,
collecting, if
we won't start with, hopefully we won't start with blank charts.
Yeah.
We'll start with some people bringing stuff that will actually be ready to start being discussed.
we're starting to already gather things that Corpus Christi has amended out, other coastal communities,
Oh.
we're looking at that. So if you guys want to do any kind of research on what other people have amended out of those.
For the non-builders, like as example, the code says we're supposed to put fresh air intakes on everything, but we know what fresh air intake does in this town.
Yes.
It creates mold.
Take a human outside and put a human inside.
So that doesn't work. So that's one of those things that really needs to probably not be.
And it's stuff that maybe the city of Port Aransas hasn't ever really required before, but not written out, the building official's like, yeah, I'll let that one go. I don't need to do that. We need to have it written for it to be right.
Sure.
That's all I got.
Is there any action that needs to happen on that other than?
I just needed those volunteers.
Okay, got volunteers. Any, number 4, planning and zoning commission comments and items for future consideration?
You just talked about it.
January's meeting should be pretty light. It's likely just going to be the June permit that was pulled off this meeting.
Perfect. With that, I will call to adjourn the City of Port Aransas Planning and Zoning Commission meeting Thursday, January 4th, 2024 at 3:21 p.m.
Thank everybody.
Y'all make it up to Wood Creek?
We did.
Good weather for you.
It was